Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to another very delayed episode of We Watch Shudder. My name is Michelle, and who's here with me?
It's very delayed, JD.
I'm delaying my response, but then I realized that you might think I'm having audio issues. I was going to give it like 5 seconds, but
I
then I
was
realized,
genuinely concerned there for a moment.
yeah,
Yeah, I was
I
like, "Oh
realized we were
shit, you're
probably
not. This isn't.
both
This
going to
isn't
panic.
actually happening, right?"
Yeah,
JD
I guess it's
continues to
different
have
if you're
trouble
in
with his
person.
internet, guys. At the new home. For some reason, just out of nowhere, the security protocols on my internet just started blocking specifically Shudder. Anytime one of my devices tried to go to it on the app, or anytime I tried to bring up the website, I couldn't do it. And I was like, what the shit is going on? And I don't know. I need to find a new ISP, I think, is ultimately what I'm finding out here. And I was told that the other people that I don't have are also available in this building. So we may be looking into that. Nobody cares about my my very mundane ISP problems. They're just happy we're here to talk about a movie. I'm happy I'm
Well,
here to talk about a movie.
I know why they blocked it. The
Why?
security protocol was like, damn, Shutter's criminally good. We can't have that. Their
But
content has got to be illegal.
they're not listening, Michelle. You don't have to butter them up.
All right. Fuck Shutter. No, I'm kidding. I'm so sorry. Please do not cancel us.
I mean,
just like
they
horror.
might be occasionally listening, Michelle, so no need to be a dick either.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. When
Michelle,
I am
I believe
in a default position, it's to be an asshole. So
right. Well, I also I believe you mentioned just before we hit the record button that you're under the influence of perhaps benzodiazepines, a little bit of Xanax tonight.
yes, but legally
Yeah.
prescribed.
Well, of course.
Yeah,
I'm
it's legal.
I'm under the influence of some legally prescribed medications as well.
Nice.
This could be an interesting episode, guys. We don't usually do this on a Sunday night.
No,
But
and here's the reason I had to take a Xanax. I was panicking about Christmas gift wrapping.
oh my God,
Like
that makes
that's what
perfect
triggers
sense,
it.
right?
Gift giving is my love language, so I go overboard for Christmas every year. I spend way
Hey,
too much.
speaking
I
of
was gonna
gift
say you got a
giving,
gift. Yours
yeah,
wasn't wrapped.
speaking
I
of
didn't have to
gift
panic about
giving,
it.
guys, Michelle gave me the coolest fucking thing.
Yeah, I did.
It's this incredibly awesome book. First of all, it's a beautiful edition. I don't know if that's just how they come, or if this was a special edition, or it was beautifully bound, awesome artwork. And guys, it's a cookbook with all sorts of recipes in it, but it's a cookbook written like the Necronomicon, right? Like H.P. Lovecraft, and it's very like Evil Dead style Necronomicon. Like there's text passages and then art and designs and things throughout it. Some of the language and the recipes is really weird, and you gotta like use the pictures around it to sort of sort out what's going on. It's all got all this wild stuff, and then in the back there's an index where it just breaks down because they're legit recipes, also, right? Like it's an actual cookbook. But here's the best part, guys. It's kind of like the Necronomicon if it was a cookbook. So instead of being called the Necronomicon, it's called the Necronom Nom Nom, and that is fucking fantastic.
I know you love cooking and Lovecraft.
The
When I came across that, I was like, oh my God.
There was
yes,
a part of me that was like, I
needed
wish it was the Necronomnomicon, but then I realized that the Necronomnomnom has the same number of syllables as the Necronomicon, and so I totally get it. And
Yeah.
I'm like, some of the recipes in here, they have one that's it's like a figgy pudding, but it's called Yiggy pudding. And they have at the Fountains of Madness for a drink
That's my favorite
recipe.
one. Yeah, I like
New
At the
England
Fountains of
damned
Madness.
chowder. It's going to be a lot of fun, and it's a beautiful book. I forget
Yeah.
the author's name right off the top of my head, but I'm sure you can find it with just a quick Google. It's called
Absolutely.
Necronom Nom Nom, and it's fabulous. I can't thank Michelle enough. Also, I still haven't gotten Michelle anything. I know she's going to say, oh,
Oh
you don't
no.
have to get me anything
Yeah,
because
that's
gifts are
exactly
her
right.
love language. But
Yeah.
what she doesn't understand is that I had every intention of getting her something. I'm just terrible at time management and following what day. Michelle, it's like a week until Christmas. How the fuck did that happen? It
I
was
have had
just
90%
Halloween.
of my Christmas shopping done since November.
That's wild.
I know. I'm
You
a
people who
planner.
are able to like
I
plan ahead
bookmark.
and
Yeah.
it's
I have
how do
Excel
you do that?
spreadsheets. I have Excel spreadsheets with all the things that I've come across throughout the year. In my calendar are all my friends' birthdays, as well as important holidays like Christmas. And then I go through my Excel spreadsheet and I can filter like, what does Nicole want? And I'm like, oh, I saw this thing 7 months ago. Let's go see if I can find that. It's still the perfect thing for Nicole. It is also categorized into some generic things like horror lovers, because I have a lot of horror friends.
Mm-hmm.
My burlesque ladies, people
Mm-hmm.
who are dog owners. So yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
keep Excel spreadsheets. Of course I do.
So
And
this
there's
is
things I
a.
bookmarked.
I do assure you, if this is your first time tuning in, this is very much a horror movie podcast.
Yeah,
It's
the
also
horror of trying to plan for Christmas.
yeah, it's also very much a JD and Michelle sort of work through some of their shit kind of podcast while
Oh
we're
my God. Right
talking
before
about.
this, I was on my Xanax and trying to put together an entertainment stand. So I'm in a weird mood. I took the
Hey,
Xanax for gift wrapping, but then I had to go work on an entertainment center and none of the pieces were labeled. And I was in between so many dowels and I went,
you
fuck
didn't
it,
go to
gonna go record
IKEA, did
first.
you?
No, of course not. They don't deliver
That's a
here. I did find one that I wanted. So it's Target
IKEA.
purchase.
How does anybody not deliver anywhere anymore? I don't. I like
I know. I have
that
feelings.
doesn't.
Well, I also have feelings about this movie.
What is this movie,
Hey,
Michelle? It's one that we were
I
specially recommended, is it not?
I don't even remember because I watched it 4 days ago. It is Vicious Fun, directed by Cody Callahan and requested by John Humphreys, super
Yeah,
active
that's what I just asked.
person
Is
on our
this was a
page.
special
Yeah,
request, wasn't it?
I know. Yes, it was John Humphreys. You're
Oh, so
welcome. I
you were
answered
just
your
being
question.
facetious when you said, "Oh, I don't even remember."
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you were being for serious. My bad.
No, no, I was being facetious instead of for serious.
Vicious Fun. So this is an older
Uh,
Shudder original, and it's one that actually was coming up soon on our own backlog of
it was the
OG.
next one on our list anyway.
Well, how about that?
I
Incredible
know.
timing. So Vicious Fun.
Yeah.
I had you seen this one before we did it for this episode, Michelle?
I had.
I had not ever seen this one
Ooh.
before we watched it. I thought for a moment that I had because of a scene involving David Koechner, who was in this movie, and then I very quickly realized, no, I was thinking of a different movie. Anyway, yeah, so Michelle had seen Vicious Fun before. I had never seen Vicious Fun before. Um, we had a, we had a little back and forth at the beginning of the episode because I
Oh yeah.
feel like the description for the movie on both Shudder and IMDb is a little too spoilery because it reveals one specific point, and Michelle is correct. The point she was trying to make, which was that that point is kind of just crucial to the story of the movie, but it's the kind of thing that you would normally find out in like the first 5 minutes of a movie, and you don't find it out in this
Exactly.
movie until like 25 minutes in.
That's when I
So
conceded. Yeah,
no,
because I
and
was
I'm
like,
not
that's
saying
the
you're
big
wrong. I'm
thing.
just saying
Yeah,
like, and that's actually going
I
to
get
play
it.
into some of the things we're going to talk about with this movie. At least some of the things that I want to bring up. Because I
Oh
also
man.
have some feelings about this movie. 5 skulls right now, aggregate
Oh
five
shit.
skulls
Whoa,
on
hold up.
Shudder.
We're just you're
No,
giving
not
it.
from
Oh
me,
no.
Michelle. I'm not giving you
Okay,
my
I was
score.
like, whoa.
This is currently
At
an
five
aggregate
skulls.
5 skull on
Oh, I had a
Shudder,
heart
right?
attack. Oh
Oh.
man, yeah. Oh Jesus, I was like, whoa, right out the gate. Okay.
No. We'll
Yeah.
get to ratings here in a moment.
Okay.
Um,
I was
so
so
how did we
jump scare.
decide that we were going to summarize this movie? It's a movie about a guy who is a film critic. He writes for basically, Fangoria or Famous Monsters, classic 80s horror movie magazine. It's Fangoria, we all know. But he's a horror film critic and a horror movie or a horror magazine writer, and he finds himself caught up in a real life horror movie situation. That's about it, right, Michelle?
I mean, we didn't agree. I like the Shudder description, but yes, that is what we
Okay,
agreed
go
for
ahead.
the podcast.
Go
No,
ahead
no,
and
no.
read the
We'll get
Shudder
back to it. No, I'm
description.
not going to. We're in the spoiler free section. I will hold on because you have strong feelings about it, and I gotta know. Speaking of, let's get into the spoiler free ratings then. Are you giving it 5? What are you giving it?
My spoiler-free thoughts on this movie is, I first of all, I think this movie has a lot of really great set pieces. There are a lot of cool moments in this movie. I get what this movie was trying to be, what it was trying to do, and I think it does a lot of things really well. But there's one thing that for me is sort of crucial that I feel like it didn't do at all, which was make me care about any of these characters. I don't dislike them in any way, shape, or form, but I felt no connection to any of them. And then there, for me, this was just a collection of cool horror movie moments, and that's about all of them. Like, I had trouble paying attention to the movie while I was watching it because I was just so disconnected from the story, and it was mostly just kind of waiting for the next cool gore moment or whatever. So overall, I'm gonna split this one right down the middle. I'm gonna go 2.5 skulls.
Wow. Okay. I don't know why I'm ever surprised by your scores, but I basically am always surprised. Whatever I think you're going to give something, you give the opposite. I thought you were going to love this because I love it. I really enjoy
Oh,
it.
okay.
It legitimately was very, very funny. There are some parts in the middle that are lacking, but the beginning and then the thing that I'm not allowed to mention yet, when that all happens, that's fun. And then I really enjoyed the variety of killers in this movie. So yeah, it did a lot of fun horror things. Whereas you were just waiting for the next one, I was super invested in what was going on. I wouldn't say I really cared about the character, but I did care about what was going to happen to him. So in a way, kinda. I liked it. I really enjoyed the ending, and that's difficult for a horror movie. I thought this nailed it. It does get a little too slapstick at parts, but by the time it gets to there, it was kind of in a meh zone a little bit anyway, so I can't knock the full thing for it. So I'm going 3.75.
3.75 on Michelle's side, 2.5 on my side. That's 3.125.
Yeah, correct.
Hey, I did the math right for a change.
Yeah,
Awesome.
good job.
Still a quality score, really. I mean, that puts it on the positive side overall. So if you want to go see Vicious Fun, and again, I have to point out, like, this has an aggregate user score on Shudder right now of 5 skulls, and there are just a ton of rave reviews about this movie. So JD clearly in the minority here, but we'll get into that. But if you want to see it before we spoil a bunch of stuff, now would be the time that you're going to want to push the pause button. Did you come back? I hope you came back. It's always an anxiety of mine. Do you think they come back, Michelle?
I try not to dwell on it, but I think we've lost so many people who did not know that they were supposed to come back. I mourn them every day.
Right. I
People who
mean,
did not
sometimes they come
realize.
back, like that Stephen King movie. Have you ever seen that one? Sometimes
I
they come back.
have. You know,
It's a
one of
pretty
the
good
few
one.
things that I have seen classic horror of is Stephen King.
Have you
So,
seen well, the sequel? Was it called Sometimes They Come Back for More?
is that also Stephen King or is that a
I
silly
know. I think
sham?
it's just a sequel to the movie, but not based on anything he wrote.
No. No, I haven't. Have you seen a movie called Vicious Fun?
Oh, did I ever? Did I ever?
uh I'm gonna try to do a story synopsis, but I watched it 4 days ago, so we'll see how this goes, shall we?
Do it up,
Okay, there's a guy whose name I've forgotten. Joel?
Joel.
Todd? Joel! Oh my god, how did I know that? I just went with generic white boy name. Okay, Joel, he's a guy, he's kind of a dweeb. He works for a magazine called Vicious Fanatic, but everybody says it, or the one guy says it should be Vicious Fun. He lives with a lady and he's in love with her, but she doesn't like him that way. She says he's just a friend. He said she's just a friend. And then the lady goes on a date
Oh
and he doesn't like the
baby,
dude.
you. Sorry, you just brought it out of me.
I know, right?
Bismarck, he's the
Stopped at the wrong
best.
moment. I know. So he sees a guy. The guy's name is Bob. Again, generic white man name. So he's like, I don't trust anybody named Bob unless they're very old. And so he finds Bob at a bar, and then he winds up, I think, getting too drunk, and then he's in a supply closet, passed out. And then he wakes up, and now he's in a support group, and it's for serial killers of a variety. And they're like, "Hey, are you the guy that we're waiting for?" And he's like, "Sure am. I'm a taxi driver, and I kill people." And the one guy that we know from all the movies, like Anchorman, but he's just like in all the comedies,
David
but we don't
Keckner.
actually. No, I was about to say we don't know his name. Don't spoiler my review,
Oh, I'm
my
sorry.
recap. I
I'm
didn't know
sorry.
his name was David Keckner until you told me. He's just the guy that's in all the comedies. He's great. So he's there and he's like, "You're a taxi driver," and everyone's like, "I don't know about that." And he's like, "Oh, there's a guy at the door," and fuck, it's Bob. Bob's a serial killer, and then they find out that this guy Joel, he's not a serial killer, and they don't like that. So then the one lady, she takes Joel into the kitchen. She's like, "I'll keep you safe." And all the other serial killers, there's a pretty cool dance scene with Bob, and they're all preparing how to kill. And then we're finding out the different types of killers they are. One of them, he's a clown. That's pretty great. And then there's
He's
like
the
another
Joker.
guy. Yeah, exactly. He's just like clown guy. And then there's like just a bunch of different killing ways. And then at some point, they wind up at the police station with a bunch of incompetent cops. Incompetent cops, incompetent. They wind up there, and then the cops die, and then the serial killers, they're all battling. And the lady, she's a serial killer of serial killers. And long story short, she winds up killing them all because she's a badass. And then she's like, "Hey, Joel, do you want to be my little buddy and be my little intern?" And he's like, "Hell yeah, lady." And now they have like a fun relationship where whatever she says, he says, "Yes, ma'am." And that's how it should be. And then they go around and they track down killers together. And it's, perfect love story at the end.
Wait a minute. Perfect love story. You got love
Yeah.
story out of this?
Oh, yeah. Those two are boning. Are you kidding me?
Oh, those two are absolutely not boning.
They are absolutely
Not a
boning.
chance. Not a
A
chance.
hundred and ten
Joel
percent
Joel
chance.
wants to so bad, and
No, she's into it.
absolutely not. You're out of your
She's
mind.
only dated bad boys up to this point, and then she's like, "You know what? I do deserve somebody who worships me like the goddess that I am." She's so into it.
You're
That
out
smirk
of
she
your
gives him at
mind.
the very end? No, they are 100%. A hundred
Wow.
percent at the beginning of a long, long romance.
Nope.
I, this is going to be the most controversial thing about this. I cannot believe that you did not get boning from those two. They are
They're absolute.
absolutely.
Oh no, he's far too much of a dork, and she is far too cool. And
No,
he's
those are my
I
favorite types of
no.
relationships.
Here's how this one. Here's how this goes down from here. Is they keep and he like occasionally gets drunk and does something stupid, and she continuously brushes him off. And then one day, like several years down the road, they both get real, like, I don't know, messed up on some things that they accidentally got injected with trying to find one of these serial killer people, and maybe they were boning like one time, and then she was just like, nope, never. It is very really awkward, and there's no way there's any kind of regular, consistent relationship between these two people. No, no way.
Absolutely, there is. He gives the best orgasms she has ever had in her life, and she's very surprised by it. And she's like, "Wow, that was a killer orgasm." And then they're together forever. Let me
Okay.
just live in my headspace where people like Joel can be happy. I think he's adorable. He reminds me of my high school sweetheart, who is also an alcoholic dweeb. And I'm really into it. And I hope that whatever she says goes, and what she says goes is them boning. That's how
Uh,
it's gonna happen.
Okay, if you say so.
You
So
can't fight
that's all
love.
you need to know. That's all. I guess that's all we need to talk about with Vicious
Yeah.
Fun.
How dare you?
Because
Yeah, this is a
clearly, if
love story.
Michelle thinks these people are boning, she doesn't understand a damn thing about this movie. So there's no point in continuing to talk about it.
Okay, well then tell me the things I need to know about the
I just
spoiler. The thing that JD does not like is that the descriptions say that it's a support group for serial killers, and I feel like it's impossible to not know that before starting,
no,
but I also understand.
you're not wrong. My
Uh
problem
yeah.
with that is if it's something that's crucial to what this, like, all of the marketing for this movie makes it seem like that support group for serial killers is an establishing moment of the story, that it's fundamental to the overall plot. And it's neither of those things. It's a gimmick that appears 25 minutes into the movie. That there's no build up to it at all. It's just like a horror movie dude sort of wet dream fantasy, right? It's like horror movie guy suddenly finds himself in a real life horror movie. He's in this weird situation with these serial killers, and they find out that he's not actually one of them. And then, also, it turns out one of them is a secret vigilante anti-serial killer like She-Dexter or something. This is one of those movies where everything happens just because it's a cool thing that can happen, and there's no there's no bigger story at play. There's nothing that makes me resonate with these characters at all. For me, it's one of those movies where, first of all, I do want to say, I mean, everybody in it is great. It's well performed. It's well made. The gore effects are fantastic. Some of the kills here are really good. It's really good horror show. It's just because for me, I didn't connect with it on any level other than that. This is one of those where, like, once I've seen it, I don't really have any reason to go back or any motivation at least to go back and see it again. And I think that's why for me,
Whoa.
I'm glad I saw it, and it's not bad. It was just kind of there for me.
Wow. No, in the meantime, I was very excited to see this a second time,
Tell us
potentially a
again.
third time.
Tell us all
Uh,
about it.
I I enjoy it. My favorite part is that it's a romance. So I love their weird little love. It's cute, and I refuse to accept that it's platonic. Like
Oh no, it's
anyway,
only platonic one way. That's my point.
no, they are both very into each other. She gives him a little smirk when he has to run in and get the axe, and she's at least at this point. I'm not saying that they're gonna be together forever. Clearly, he's a little not all there in the way that she is, and she's going to get really annoyed at how many times he forgets like an axe at the crime scene. At first, at this point in their relationship, it's very endearing, and she's like, oh man, he's just kind of like a bumbling killer. Isn't that cute? But it is going to grate on her nerves, and they are going to break up in like 2 years maximum. But at this point, it's like the cute beginning of the relationship. She's into it. She likes something a little bit different.
He's
Are they going to get
he
married? Hell no.
he's her puppy. Are you suggesting she's
Exactly.
gonna bone her puppy?
Okay, hold up. If it's a human puppy, have you heard of furries? Because yes, this lady should be into furries.
Oh, I don't know what.
She's into furries. That's if
Oh,
that's how we're going with it. I'm just saying. I know her. She's a freak. Clearly. Oh,
I mean, she
this is
kills
like all
people.
I wanna. This is all I want to argue about for the rest of the episode. Because
Well,
how
and
could you not?
here's another
Oh, they're
thing
in.
about this that was frustrating to me is, like, there are good ideas here, right? Like, part of what's so frustrating to me about how much of a focus there was in the marketing and in the summaries about that self-help group for serial killers is, like I said, that's not actually crucial to the overall plot of the movie, except that it just happens to be the reason that he is in a room with multiple serial killers at the same time. and then it just descends into those serial killers all trying to catch and kill him. So it's like a multi-killer slasher in a way. I wish they had found a way to do something with that serial killer support group idea. I thought that was a very interesting idea, and then it's just a vehicle into the violence scenario, and it's pushed to the side, right? I feel like that idea. It's not again the most original of things, but I love the idea of a serial killer tracking down and murdering other serial killers. This movie is super stabby, and you know I love a fucking stabby movie, right? So I just there were this was so piecemeal in a lot of ways, and there were so many things. Like I think this could be at least two separate movies, with the ideas at play here, maybe even a third. But I didn't get as much of any of those things as I would like to have.
Interesting. I don't know what more you would want from the support group. For me, I thought it very clearly established who they are as characters and introduced them as killers, not even in a way like that's subtle. It's like these people are killers, and now we are preparing Joel for who he's about to be up against in a
Right,
very
but
intimate way, as opposed to people just coming after him. So for me, what I saw in the support group was enough, and I was ready to now see these serial killers in
right,
action.
well, I guess my what I'm saying is there's no reason why it had to be a support group. It could have been him waking up and they're just having a dinner party. It could have been any number of scenarios, because ultimately the only reason it exists is to get him into a room with multiple serial killers. The fact that it's a support group for serial killers is irrelevant to the plot from there. Like, it's just the reason
So
to get him in the room.
so the exact same movie, but they are at a dinner party and he wakes up and comes out of the closet and then they're all just talking about who they are. That you'd be on board with. It's specifically that's a support group because then you wanted more of that idea.
I
Because to
just,
me, those are the same vehicles
see,
for what we would learn.
I maybe they are, maybe they aren't. But yeah, I
Hmm.
don't. What more did I want? I can't tell you what more I want. All I can tell you is I wanted more from that idea.
Mm.
That struck me immediately as an idea that could have been mined for a lot of opportunity. And it for me again, from what I got out of it is it was just the reason to get him in that room, and it didn't do
Okay.
anything for me.
There is a book that I have not read yet, but has been on my list, and now I'm probably gonna bump it way up. By Grady Hendrix, who has been just like killing it on the horror book level. I wound up with three things of his in my library and didn't even know. That, oh hey, these are all the same guy, and I haven't read any of them yet. But anyway, he has a book called Final Girl Support Group, and I'm really looking forward to reading it. And I will let you know if it is a little bit more what you're looking for. Um, and can maybe fill that void because now I'm like, fuck, I wonder if that book does cover that, but from like the final girl perspective. But then they're going to tell you all the kills. I have no idea what it is aside from the title. I'm just very excited to read it. So
like
maybe I'll put that higher on my list.
like just off the top of my head, like I think a fantastic movie would have just been that sequence where he wakes up, like the whole sequence where they're telling their stories, like this could almost be an anthology, right? And when each one of them tells their story, it becomes like a short film about basically a cinematic version of the story they're telling and talking about their experiences and or what trouble they had, and just developing that sort of, and then like it builds to the moment that they find out he's not one of them, and then maybe it just sort of ends right there. I don't know. Like I just feel like there's gold in just that idea. That idea to me just resonates. There's gotta be something here, and that's specifically a serial killer support group. I don't know. Maybe I just put too much value in that collection of words, but and then also, like I said, I like this character of what's her name, Cassie, the vigilante, or is it Carrie? Carrie.
Carrie.
Yeah.
Carrie.
I like this character. Like I like the idea of it. Again, it's not something we've never seen before. A vigilante killer. But I thought it was an interesting idea. Even the idea again of like him coming on as like her intern slash assistant, and then what does happen between them from there. Like I thought that would have been an interesting story, but it just seemed like it was bits and pieces of things that I would have liked a lot more of all of them. But
Yeah.
again, I didn't hate it by any means. Frankly, the kills and the violence in this is way more than what I was expecting. Like I said, it's super fucking stabby, and she chokes that guy to death with somebody else's guts. I was just like, what the fuck am I watching right now? That might be one of my favorite kills I've seen in a long time, is somebody being choked or strangled to death with somebody else's intestines. A guy fucking pulls his own eyeball out. It's just a variety of insane fucking killing in this movie. Did you have a favorite kill in this one?
Mm, not a kill. I just like her stabbing that guy a
Yeah.
lot.
She's yeah.
But he
Oh
doesn't
yeah. She
like die right there. Just like constant stabbing. And
yeah.
he's like,
She's lots of stabs. She's
yeah.
she's real
He
stabby.
does
Yeah.
inevitably die from it, but
Right.
like it's not like
Like
instant
there's
death. It's
so
so
yeah,
good.
that reminds me, like that part of her story, like that book, the journal with the, like we understand, it's that's like her kill list, right? Like these are the people she's going after, but you could have played that up for a whole lot more a story. You could have Mr. Midnight, that whole thing. There's the backstory of whatever happened in Utah, right? And I mean, ultimately, we understand from what little bit they gave us is like, oh, Utah was another support group, and those people are all dead now too. And I just, they're just, this is one of those rare occurrences where I kind of wish like this, like if this had been like a Netflix 8 episode series or something, I think you could have gotten a whole lot out of it.
Surprisingly, I had seen this before, so I was just curious like what other people had to say about it. And I had 4 days to just keep reminding myself, like, what's the plot of this again without having to watch it because you were having internet issues. And I was like, I want to keep fresh on it. Some other people did say similar to you that they wish that it was a miniseries or an anthology, but
Mm-hmm.
at the time they just commented that on like a thread somewhere, and I didn't know what they were talking about. I do think that's a cool idea. It doesn't take away from this movie for me, but I do like the idea of seeing more of these killers because one of the most interesting things for me was definitely the variety that there is there. The clown is my favorite.
Oh, sure.
But I really liked seeing the different characters, and you're right
Mm-hmm.
that maybe if we just had an anthology and what loops them together is like
Yeah,
it's
an
a support group
anthology
and we
or an
just learn.
episodic thing. Yeah,
Yeah. So now I
and
understand that a little bit better,
I
and that would be pretty cool.
well, and I do want to be very clear here. Like, I don't dislike this.
Hmm.
Like I don't mind that I saw it. It just didn't grab me in a way where I was like, oh fuck, I need to sit down and watch this movie. I kind of ho hummed my way through it. And I just don't feel like it's something I would ever necessarily need to. It's something I might show other people if they're just like, hey, what's a movie that's got some cool violence and stuff in it? Like, I wouldn't be opposed to showing this movie to other people or suggesting it to them. It would just be like, this one I thought was okay. You might like it, you might not, but it's worth checking out. And that's why I came down, right in the middle on a 2.5. Like, it's not a bad movie. It just didn't resonate, didn't connect with me in any way.
What you're saying is this movie and I have something in common, and that is our wasted potential.
Well, me too. Then, yes, yes, we all have that in common. A
Yeah,
lot of
this movie
wasted
is just
potential.
uh, so much
Which is
possibility and
frankly
so
why, look, if I'm being
squandered.
totally honest, I give myself about a 2.5. All right, look, so
Oh,
I'm
please don't make me put myself on a
I
numerical rating. Oh,
I
it's going to
just
be
this is
negative.
I want to make sure the people involved with Vicious Fun understand that I'm an
Yeah,
honest
I'm like a
man.
1.5
I
at
put
best.
myself down at about a 2 point. Nah, Michelle, you're like a 3. You're like a solid
Oh, thank
3.
you. Wait, out of 10 though? Because I do
No, out of
actively tell
5.
people, I tell people that I am an LA 3, but a Midwest 6. So, and I stand by it. So that would translate
Oh,
to a 3, I guess. So, yeah, we have the
yes.
same idea of me.
Oh,
Oh,
so
man.
yeah, so that's Vicious Fun. I don't really know what else we could possibly say about it. Any
Oh,
other points that Michelle? You're more of a note taker than I am. You got
yeah.
anything there that you didn't get to talk about? Anything that you really wanted to drive home for these people?
No, we actually talked about quite a lot more than I thought that we would because, like I said, I'd already seen it and I was so worried that I wasn't going to have enough to discuss. And I thought this might be one of those where you talk for 10 minutes and I have nothing to add to the conversation, even though you want me to. I have no thoughts. So the fact that you disagree with me about the romance, so glad we got to talk about that because you are clearly wrong.
Look,
So being able to
I
hit on
was
that
just
point.
gonna say, Michelle, I do have one last question for you,
Ooh,
and that is, come on, you don't actually believe that anything beyond just him puppy love chasing after her and her perpetually just swatting him away like a nuisance is the most that ever became of this. You don't honestly believe there's anything beyond
I
that, do you?
absolutely do believe and was very
That's
surprised that you don't.
incredible.
It had
That's
never even
wild.
been a consideration for me that they don't wind up together for at least some time after this movie. I do think he's going to piss her off to the point where she considers killing him, and maybe she actually does because she does kill serial killers, and now he's technically one. But at this point, when this movie ends, they are full on cutesy beginning of a relationship honeymoon period.
No, no, not
Absolutely.
at all. No, these people somewhere down the line bone once tops.
And he
And
rocks her world in a way she did not expect from her little puppy dog intern, and she gives it a try for at least a year. They
that's
are hitting the 1 year anniversary mark, but he's gonna completely botch
I
what he gets her
I
for an
feel
anniversary
like
gift, and it's gonna be the beginning of the end for that
I feel like
relationship.
the only thing we can do from here, Michelle, is ask the listeners, guys.
Yeah,
If you've seen
I
Vicious
truly
Fun,
need to know.
if
Yes.
you see, shoot us an email, mail at wewatchshutter.com. Find
Comment
us
on
on,
social media because
yeah,
then
on all
JD
the
and I can
social
argue in the
medias. I'm an
comments.
old man. I go to email first still. That's too bad
Oh,
for me.
wild.
I know,
No, I'm a
right?
social media person.
Where it's at We Watch Shutter on
All the
Facebook and
things.
Instagram and TikTok. I'm not gonna promote that other thing anymore. We might as well get
We
rid of it.
technically have we technically have a what's the Facebook Twitter?
Oh, I don't even remember what it's
I've
called.
got it on my phone, whatever that
Yeah,
is. We technically have one of those. I've never posted on it. But if you
yeah.
want to go start a conversation there, I'll try to figure it
Oh, I
out.
sure
I'm
don't,
too
Michelle.
old
You
for a
know
new Twitter.
me and social media are not the best combination. That's why I pop up just every now and then on the We Watch Shutter Facebook. I let Michelle handle most of that stuff because, oh man,
I love it.
it
I
would just
manage
everything
so
would
many
start out
pages.
fine, but I would slowly but surely go totally fucking crazy and drive everybody off who ever listened to our show.
I think you just need a fan page that's public and where you cannot delete things. I would be fascinated to see how that goes.
Oh God,
For
no,
people who
no.
don't know JD's social media style, he does only allow his statuses to live for a little bit of time before they're deleted,
I
which
would
is so frustrating when I get tagged in something and then I go to check it and it's gone.
look. It's not my fault that people don't
It's just like a
spend.
Snapchat thing.
Look,
Like it's
well,
only a little bit of time.
look, get on it. Don't quit
Yeah.
wasting time. The shit I have to say is important. Pay fucking attention, you know?
So you're encouraging me to spend even longer on social media?
If that time is spent paying attention to me, fucking absolutely.
Okay, that's fair. Oh my God, that that's a fair argument because
Yes.
as I say it, yeah, I 100% agree with that too. If you are trying to quit social media, that does mean that I'm getting less attention, and I do also need
Oh,
people to pay
I'm not
attention to
even
me.
trying to quit. I'm just recognizing that
Oh, I meant in
especially.
general for
Oh,
anybody.
okay, okay,
I'm like
yeah.
Tinkerbell. I need attention or I die.
Yeah, yeah, that's why. But no, there's a whole story about the deleting. People assume it's just like, oh, you just don't want people. You get into arguments and you don't want to have to deal with them, or you don't want people to
Oh,
know you
no.
said certain things. And it's, oh man, it's so much more complicated than that. It's a fascinating story involving shitty computers from the 1980s that I was trying to use in the 1990s, and I don't want to bore anybody with the weirdness of my weirdnesses. It's so, yes,
Oh
I
my God.
delete
At some
everything.
point, I do need to hear
I
this
delete.
story offline.
It's not just social media. I
Oh, I
delete
know.
emails, I delete text messages, I
Yeah,
delete phone records, I delete, and
I'm
it's
the
not even a
opposite.
paranoia thing, guys. It's a weird
Compulsion.
fidget rooted in the fact that I had a computer for the longest time that, in order to do anything at all, needed to be regularly maintained, regularly have caches dumped, regularly have like all available space emptied out, and it's cascaded down into every aspect of my digital life because I'm a crazy person. Yes,
I'm the exact opposite.
what I'm telling you is I feel like my Facebook will work better if I don't leave all that shit on there all the time.
I pay for the upgraded Google Drive and OneDrive because I have so many files and refuse to delete anything. I have
Yeah,
to pay for both drives. Also, it depends on
Michelle,
who I want access to different things or what app I plan on using. I do switch between both Google Drive and OneDrive, and I realize that might be a crazy person thing.
let's
Most
play a
people choose
fun
one.
game here, Michelle. As
Okay.
long as we're letting people in on the inside of
Yeah,
our weirdness, now that we've gotten the movie out of the way, do you have your email account handy?
I do.
Pull up your email.
Uh-huh.
Now I want you to tell me, just
Mm-hmm.
in your inbox alone,
Mm-hmm.
how many total messages, read or unread, I don't care, how many total messages right now in your email inbox?
I did clean it out right before we started recording, so four. Everything else has been put into folders.
Okay, do
So
you
my inbox
remember
has
roughly
four.
how many there were before you cleaned it out?
Roughly 50 because I do it once a day and I get a lot of fucking emails.
Okay, how many emails total do you have archived?
I have no idea how to find that.
Well,
Shit,
what
I'm
I'm
at.
telling you
Oh,
is,
there's a button called all mail. Hang on. Hang on. Now
yeah.
I'm curious. I don't know, but it does say that I'm using 57.29 gigabytes of 100 that is used in my plan.
Are you
So,
using Gmail?
yeah.
Okay, so if you go to all mail, right
Yep.
up near the top,
Oh,
there'll be.
25,112.
So
All of them are red, too.
Michelle's Gmail, and this is
Oh
why I
God.
this is gonna illustrate the wildness that I've let you in on about the
Oh
weird
man.
compulsions of my brain.
Mhm.
Michelle, say that number again, Michelle. How many total messages still existent in your Gmail account?
25,112. I have not deleted an email since I set this account up in 2007.
Okay. So since 2007, you have over 21,000 emails.
25,000.
25,000
25,112.
emails.
I'm actually
Uh,
surprised it's not more.
I have had my Gmail account since, I believe, about 2005. I currently have. Would you like to guess, Michelle? Would you like to guess how many messages total I have in my Gmail account, which I have had for roughly 18 years? compared to your
Uh,
25,000 plus?
to make sure you do not put anything in folders, right? So what is in your
Absolutely not.
inbox is what in your account.
No, I'm
You know
looking
what?
at the
Maybe
all.
we match.
I'm
Yep.
looking at the all mail thing, just like you.
Okay. 4. You also
Well,
have 4.
no, no, it's not
Okay.
quite that bad.
Okay.
But it's only 2 digits and it's 45.
Wow. How
Yeah.
do you function? Okay,
Here's
now
the.
that we're
I'm not
talking.
even done. I'm not even
Oh
done.
no.
So it's 45, but that's because there are 7 in my inbox that are literally about to just be deleted and removed. So actually, it's about 38. A couple of these. Oh, hang on just a minute. Now I probably got about 30
Oh
of
man,
them.
I'm so glad where this episode has gone cuz tell
Oh,
me.
right. People, hang on. Let me do the
I'm
deleting here.
fascinated.
It's probably close to 30 is how many
Jesus.
total actual saved emails I have. Let's get rid of. I don't need to know my Cass County Electric Cooperative bill is available. It came in the mail today. I don't need this. This is a sent email. This is a sent email. That can go. This can go. This can go.
While you're
Nope.
cleaning your stuff
Nope.
out, I was curious what I've even made folders about, and I did find a folder with only 5 messages that I made in 2015 titled Dreams. And I got curious, and there's just 5 emails I sent to myself in the very early morning of like 2 a.m. Apparently, I started doing this in February 2015. The first one I opened, subject, dreams. The message, each of these statements is a separate line, turned sideways while sleeping, Halloween, candy not good enough, Hill, Steve and his girlfriend stacking boxes.
People
That's
are
the kind
just
of
like
shit I have.
people are just like, what are these people doing right now? Why are we still listening? Okay, so I just
I
finished
don't
cleaning it
know.
up. First of all, I would like to point out that not only is this a Gmail account that I've had since about 2005, the oldest email I have saved is from January of 2015. And the total now is 26.
Wow. What if you like need to know what date you went to a movie in the past?
I
Like
don't. Why would I
I
ever
have
need
to
to know that?
because sometimes I'm curious like, oh, there was a movie I saw with somebody and we're all sitting there talking about like, what was that movie we went to together? And then I can just search Marcus Theaters and I can tell you what movie I went to because I have all my movie tickets saved until the end
Oh,
of eternity.
that
You know, maybe I need to know.
that's I. It's not the kind of thing that I would ever be that attached to knowing.
Well, I like too much information. So
Speaking of too much information, holy shit, we've been going on for a while now about how
I'm
JD
having a lot of
compulsively
vicious
deletes
fun.
things.
Yeah, this
Because
is the therapy portion. If you've been
here's
a
the
listener for a while, you
if
know we are
guys,
all about the therapy part.
if there's anything whatsoever that I want you to take from this episode about the movie Vicious Fun, I would like you to take from it that JD thinks his Facebook will work better if he doesn't leave all his old posts up all the time.
And the thing I need you to take from this episode is that they were clearly boning. Those are
Say
the
good
2
night,
life lessons.
Michelle.
Good night, Michelle.
We Watch Shudder is a production of Rat Factory Media, your home for all of today's Rat Factoryist podcasts. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests of We Watch Shudder are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of Rat Factory Media. But wait, aren't Rat Factory Media and We Watch Shudder the same people? Shut your cake hole, Charlie. Nobody asked you. We Watch Shudder is available free on all major podcast platforms, and the easiest way to support We Watch Shudder is also free. Just leave a rating and review on your platform of choice. Merge your consciousness with ours on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. We're at We Watch Shudder on all those social media platforms. Or find us the old-fashioned way, on the web at wewatchshudder.com or by email at mail@wewatchshudder.com. Heck, you can even leave us a voicemail at 701-566-9510. No, seriously, 701-566-9510. Try it if you dare.